My name's Dan Currier, and I work as a transportation planner at the Central Vermont Regional Planning Commission. I'm here to talk briefly about a transportation study. It's called the Transportation is Changing Study, Make It Work for You. The study is focused on a proposed paratransit service that is being looked at for the Washington County, specifically Montpelier and Barre area. The paratransit, if you wonder what that is actually a service that would be provided directly to people with disabilities, the elderly, to help them get from their home to an ultimate destination. The service would not be a bus, although it could be a bus. It would be a car, a van, and it would pick you up at home and transport you to your final destination, and then reverse that trip on the way back. The proposed changes through the paratransit would be a change to our existing transportation service. Currently, the buses that run in Washington County run a deviated fixed route, where the bus actually departs the route, picks up a person, and then delivers them back to the route, and then deviates a second time to their final destination. The new system would fix the buses on their routes and no longer make that deviation, and the paratransit would make the deviation through cars, vans, and potentially buses. To help the study, we've actually developed a committee that's helping us to look at the paratransit service, how it would operate, when it would operate, what the areas that it would operate in. And this input that we're gathering is actually through a survey that's been developed. The input survey is currently available at the Central Vermont Regional Planning Commission's website at centralvtplanning.org. And our committee, who comprises of the Vermont Center for Independent Living, the Vermont Council on Aging, existing riders of the transit service that are persons with disabilities and the elderly. And your input is needed right now. Our study will help to provide an outline that will help inform Green Mountain Transit and give them the necessary input that they need while they do a public process in December and in February, and with the implementation of the potential paratransit service in March. So we look for your input. We also look for any additional engagement at community meetings. We'll be holding 2 community meetings on the results of the survey in December. The survey results we'll talk about include what the preferred method of transit is, whether it's a bus, a van, or a car. Whether the proposed 3/4 mile service area, which is the minimum that the ADA, the Americans with Disabilities Act, requires a transit provider to serve, is enough. And then also look at whether additional service times are necessary to help provide the service that is needed for folks with disabilities and the elderly. We thank you for this time.
Hi, my name is Dale Hackett. I'm from Barre, Vermont, and I use GMTA because I don't see well and I don't hear well. So for me, there are some real communication challenges in my life. I like using the bus, one, because I don't have a driver's license, so I don't really have a choice. I would be tied down to Barre, Vermont only if I didn't use the bus. So what does the bus allow me to do? It allows me to leave Barre, Vermont. It can also do things like even allow me to get into town. If we get a northeaster with 3 feet of snow, which nobody really likes, but we especially don't like it when the sidewalks can't get plowed. Thankfully, we can hop on the bus right there where I live, and it will take us to a bus stop in downtown Barre. We bypass the unplowed sidewalks. We can get off, go to the drugstore, get what we need in terms of pharmaceutical needs, medicines, and get back home. Otherwise, that would not be possible. Otherwise, in which I use the bus, I often during the winter will go up to the State House. I like doing advocacy work. Without the bus, I could not do that. Same thing during the summer, there's recreational activities. I can put a bike on the bus. I can ride a bike, even though I don't see well. Just, you probably want to get out of my way. And I can go to Montpelier and use their bike pass. So the bus is very empowering for me as far as me being the real person that I am. What is it like to use the bus? I do like it that when I get on, I will say to the bus driver, is this the midday city route or is this the city commuter? Sometimes the bus driver will say to me, it's on the sign in the front. And I'll say, okay, but sometimes that sign isn't right. It might say US 2 commuter or out of service, and I want the city route commuter. But it's more than that. Sometimes I can't read it. So I usually will just nicely say, can you tell me if this is a city route commuter? And they will say yes or no. I have been shy and not said that and ended up at the hospital. So there's a very good reason why you would want to ask to make sure you're on the right bus. They are friendly enough so that you can do that too, though. So don't be shy like I was. Ask them. It is also good to use the bus as an experience in the sense of they will help you understand the schedule. If you don't understand the schedule is not easy to read. Quite a few have found that to be true. So they will help you understand the schedule. Hopefully, if they can figure out how to make the schedule even simpler, it's more like on the hour and every half hour you would catch the bus from a certain location, and you learn that as you go. If you're at a bus stop and if you don't know whether or not the bus has come and gone, or if you're still waiting for the bus, and let's face it, sometimes you get there with about 5 minutes to spare. Sometimes you're lucky somebody's there that has been staying there for 10 minutes, and so you know you didn't miss the bus. Other times you look at your watch and you realize it should have been here 10 minutes ago, and that's when you know you missed the bus. I guess we'll have to work on that one. I'm not sure what else you can do. It's a wonderful experience as far as you can read a book, you can listen to music, you can do many things while you're traveling that you can't do when you're in a car. Because not everybody has the same reason for using a bus that I do. Some people can drive, but maybe they can't afford a car. Some people may simply prefer not to drive. They would prefer to ride a bus and read a book. It is great for doing that. I do that a lot myself, and I think it is a very wonderful experience to be able to do things while you're traveling. What about if you have a walker? They are very nice in this sense that we're a small rural city or town, and most of the bus drivers, if you use the bus, will get to know who you are. I'm not saying they'll know you by name, but still they'll get to know who you are, and they will come to understand your needs. So I have seen the bus pull up, see who's there at the bus stop, get out, and immediately take the walker of the person that needs to get on the bus. The person uses the rails to get onto the bus and sits down, and the bus driver carries the walker onto the bus and puts it in the seat right beside them or puts him in the seat in front. Now, you aren't really probably going to get that in the city. That's what you call real neighborly service, and we love it. It's a fun experience.
Why do you use the bus?
Because
it gets me to the places where I have to go.
Why is it important to use the bus?
Because that's
people with disabilities.
because that's the only form of transportation.
Okay, and
How to get in and around Vermont? How to get in and out? You know,
if we
different
didn't
places.
if we
If we
didn't
didn't have it, we'll be stuck.
anything else you want to add?
Well, maybe see more bus service. You know, see more buses and more.
More bus times,
Maybe a train. You know, could have a train system.
Okay, so if we didn't have
But
paratransit,
we would go crazy because, you know, it helps. It helps people to get to where they have to go.
especially in rural areas, right?
Yeah, where they live. Out in the sticks.
Hi, my name is Lawrence Seiler. This is extremely important to have transportation for people with special needs, elderly, as well as people that are wheelchair bound. We are trying to have paratransit. Right now we have public transportation to get people to and from appointments. If we do not have adequate public transit, people that need to get to and from appointments won't be able to. So my wife and I use the transit system to go to the mall, to get to appointments. We don't use it to get to the doctor's office anymore because we live near a doctor's office. But when we used to live in other parts of Vermont, we had to get to a doctor's office. It's just extremely important. If the transportation was to stop, we would be extremely stuck.
Part of the process of this grant is to get as much input, and that Green Mountain Transit will take a look at that input and see if they can, create a system that's going to work for this rural area. One of the reasons we brought this together was because we know they have an existing system in Chittenden County, and we weren't sure that that system would necessarily replicate really well in a more rural area. So this is one of the things that we're sort of exploring and looking at.
Does anyone want to add anything before we end?
Because my biggest one was getting the survey out there.
I mean, we can't, the survey is really important, and we'll get it out, but we have to get input from people. If nobody responds, we aren't going to have good answers. We won't have enough data to
Work with.
put a good outline together that these are the needs of the people in Washington County.